This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
The following episode of Charlotte Cooks is brought to you by Central Piedmont Community College and viewers like you. Thank you.
Coming up on this episode of Charlotte Cooks, you are going to learn all about veloute. What is veloute? You're about to find out. Stay tuned. Welcome to this episode of Charlotte Cooks. Today, I'm going to demystify one of what we professional cooks call a mother sauce. If you know how to make mother sauces, you are going to be known as a genius in the kitchen, because when you know the mother sauces, you are going to be able to make so many other things from this one basic technique that you're going to amaze your family, friends, and you're really going to feel good about yourself. So today, one of the things that we're going to learn is one mother sauce that's called veloute. What is veloute? Veloute is really any stock thickened with a roux. And in order to make a roux, we have to have a couple of ingredients. So you can do this with chicken stock, which is what we're going to use today. You can use vegetable stock, you can use beef stock, you can use any kind of stock that you have. And luckily, we don't have to make stock from scratch. We can go to the grocery store, and on the soup aisle, you can find a whole variety of wonderful stocks. Low sodium, chock full of sodium. Always choose the low sodium ones, by the way. Just choose whatever one you want to make. I'm going to show you how to make a chicken veloute today, and you can easily do this same thing with a turkey stock, and we are going to turn this into a beautiful soup. We're going to have a beautiful herb sauce that you can use along the side of a roasted chicken dish, and also we're going to turn this into a classic holiday dish that everybody loves, green bean casserole, but it's going to be a little bit different, because you're going to make it from scratch. It's going to be fresh and delicious. And they're going to say, forget that old way, we want the new way. So in order to get started with veloute, we have to do one thing, and that's clarify butter. So you're going to take a little pot, and clarifying butter is really very, very easy. Going to take some nice cold butter, going to take the butter, and you're going to put it into a small pot. Now, the thing is about when you make this stuff, don't put it on the stove and walk away, and you don't want your butter sticking up over the top of the pot, because if it does, it can fall over and it could catch fire on your burner. Now, you don't want it too hot. Just put it on a little bit medium, little low heat. Just let it get all melted. So what happens when clarified butter melts? You have a certain element of water inside of that butter. And so what we're trying to do is we're going to separate that water and that fat from the butter. It looks like this when it's all done. And so what happens is the oil will rise to the top and the liquids will sink to the bottom. And so you put it in a metal container, because then you can put it on your range and melt it, or it makes it really easy to get that water out of the bottom. And as soon as our butter melts over here, I'm going to show you about that water. Just like the old-fashioned can openers, you want to put a hole on one side and a hole on the other, and you do this just like this. I'm using a wooden spoon, but you can use anything like a round wooden spoon that's metal or something, but you want to make a hole. Make a hole in the butter. You can already see some of the liquid coming out of it here. And so the whole idea about can opener, I said can opener earlier, in order for this liquid to get out, you got to have an opposite hole in order for the air to get in and come out. You can take it to the sink, but I'm just going to do this right here. Look at that. Look at all that water comes out. This is the part, this is why we clarify the butter, because we don't want that extra water when we make roux. So now what's left in this container is just all what we call clarified butter oil, okay? And now in order to make a roux, we're going to take equal parts of clarified butter and all-purpose flour. We're going to put them in a little saute pan. Once again, we're going to turn the heat to about medium, and we're going to put our butter in the pan, about 4 ounces of it. Let me get a metal spoon, because that's going to cut that a little bit easier. And you're going to weigh this stuff out, because equal parts butter and equal parts flour by weight. If you don't have a scale, can you eyeball it? Yeah, you can. And so what are you looking for if you're going to eyeball it? You're going to be looking for a consistency that is the same as wet sand on the beach. Just don't put your feet in it, okay? Get your butter melted, and then you're going to add your flour all at once. and that's going to make a beautiful, beautiful roux for you. So while that melts, I'm going to come over here and take a look at my other melted butter. See how this is melted now? We still have a little bit of butter to go in the bottom that's melting. As soon as this comes and gets all nice and melty, you just turn the heat off. And so what happens is you're going to see a little bit of foam on the top, and you could scrape that foam off, which is what we see here. That's a little bit on the top of the butter, but it's not a big deal. And then put it in the cooler, the refrigerator or something, and just let that separate. If you didn't want to put it in the cooler, you could certainly use it from here, and all you have to do then is just take it right off the top. I'm going to take my ladle and put it in, take all that stuff and push it off to the side, and take just the oil off the top, okay? So I'm going to leave that there because I've got this other oil melting already, okay? So as soon as our butter gets all melted, we're going to add our flour. Yeah, there's a little bit of butter still left in there, but you know what? It's going to melt. It'll be okay. You mix this all together. This is what we call roux. You can cook this for a little bit longer. Roux can come in a lot of different colors and strengths. The longer you cook it, the less thickening power it has. But a regular white roux, if you have a 1 gallon of liquid, you need 8 ounces of butter and 8 ounces of flour, and that will make 1 pound of roux, and that will thicken 1 gallon of liquid to medium consistency. Okay, so wet sand on the beach. There we go. Okay, turn this off. Now, here's the next thing you need to know about roux when you're thickening a stock. We're going to take a quart of stock. We're going to put it in a pan. Now, don't turn your heat on yet. Why? Because your roux and your stock need to be at different temperatures when you put them in. And that is because it's going to allow the fat to, rather than melt, it's going to allow it to actually just become part of the sauce. So how are we going to incorporate these things? You need a whisk. Now when you get a whisk, you want to find one that has nice thin wires on it, not one that has big fat wires on it, because the thinner wires get more whipping action to them. If you have a really thick liquid, then you want to use the thicker wired whisk, but right now we've got something that's pretty much equivalent to water. So we're going to take our roux and we are going to whisk this in. Now our roux is hot because we just made it. Our stock is cold because we just put it in the pan. Put it in here, put this on high heat, and you're going to whisk this in until it's all in there, because we got a quart is a quarter of a pound. And what I made here is 4 ounces of roux, so I'm going to use most of this. I can always add more, and if you make it too thick, you can always thin it out with a little more stock, okay? If you don't have any more stock, you can thin it out with a little bit of water, but remember, water doesn't carry any flavor to it, all right? So there we go. We have got this all ready. I'm going to add a little more because I could tell that I'm going to need it. Okay, so now what's the next step? Very easy. Let it go. Okay, you're going to take this, you're going to put it on a side burner over here so it's not in your way. You're going to bring it to a boil and you're going to simmer it. All right, now what happens as it simmers is you're going to see it getting nice and thick, and that's what we want. This is a very basic mother sauce called veloute. That's it. When you do this, it can be very smooth and very elegant and just really, really lovely. But what we're going to show you right now is how to take this and make it into a green bean casserole with a mushroom soup. And we're going to show you how to take it and put herbs in here and add a beautiful herb sauce, okay? So for the herb sauce, what I'm going to choose some chives, I'm going to choose some chopped parsley, and I'm going to choose some tarragon. So for the chives, all we have to do is just grab some of the chives. If you grow chives, good for you. I love to grow chives. If you've never tried growing chives, I suggest you try, because they're one of those herbs that it's like you have to really try to kill it, and it's hard to kill them. Okay, so you just take a few of your chives. You don't need very many for the sauce. And what we're going to do with them is we're going to cut them nice and fine, okay? So line them all up and just make some nice little tiny chops. And they like to go everywhere. Chives are round. Hey, did you guys know that there's garlic chives? There are onion chives. The round chives are onion flavored. And if you get flat chives, they look like little flat pieces of grass. They're garlic chives, and they got a lot of wonderful garlic flavor to them. And their flowers are different too. The flowers that come on the regular chives, you may have seen them, are beautiful pink, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flowers. And then the flowers that come on the garlic chives are a little bit different too, in that they are white. But if you take the flowers and put them in your dishes and things, the flowers have a really sharp flavor to them. So don't shy away from onion or garlic chive flowers, because they are just as delicious as the chives themselves. So if you ever see them blooming, grab some of those little blooms and break them apart. Tarragon. Tarragon is one of my favorite herbs on the planet. I mean, I swear, this is just one of the best flavors to me. This in thyme, if I had to choose 2 herbs to live with, well, that would be a hard choice because I have another one, cilantro. I love that one too. But tarragon and thyme, man, they're just precious. So they come on stalks. We don't want the stalks in our sauce. So what we're going to do is just take our fingers and rub the leaves backwards so that the leaves all come off. You grab it by the tip where the tip is tender, put your fingers here, squeeze slightly, and pull it all off. Okay? And then just pile it up here. And do that for you one more time. You got the thicker stalk, you got a more tender stalk. Hold on to the tender part. And see, that's why you hold on to the tender part. Pull your leaves backwards. Okay? And so next we're going to chop these up. We're going to add them to our herb mixture. When you chop parsley, guys, you got to make sure that you wrap it in a towel and rinse it and make sure you get all the green out of it. Because if you don't get the green out of it, you're going to have a good chance of adding a lot of green color to your actual dish. I want a little more tarragon because, like I just told you, I love it. Ah, what do I hear? Hark, hark. I hear boiling stock. When you hear it come to a boil, give it a whisk. You want to make sure it's staying incorporated, and you want to make sure that it's going to actually cook. Now, why are we going to simmer this? We simmer this, y'all, for about 15 to 20 minutes. And why is that? We want to cook out that flour taste, okay? If you don't cook it out, it will actually have a taste of flour, and it'll be gummy, it'll be lucky, it won't be very good. So make sure that you are actually able to take this, whisk it up, and keep your eye on it. Keep whisking it to make sure it stays incorporated. You want to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. You don't want it to burn. And reduce your heat, so it doesn't have to be a rolling boil, but just a nice little simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes to cook out that raw flour taste. How do you know when it's at the right consistency? I'm going to show you in just 1 minute. So I'm going to take my herbs. I'm going to chop them up. My beautiful tarragon. One of these days, they really will invent smell-o-vision, and you will be able to smell this as I'm cooking it. One of these days. I mean, just think of all the technological advances we've had just in your lifetime. My goodness, they're going to have to invent smell-o-vision. So we're going to put this over here. And now, what we do to make an herb sauce is we just simply take, I've got a veloute over here that's already done. And I want to show you that because this one is still going to simmer. Okay, so we've got this one done here. And after it's simmered, it's going to get thick and it's going to be lovely. Now, I'm going to show you what we call a nappe. Take a metal spoon, any size. It could be a soup spoon, it could be a big one, it could be a little one. You're going to dip it into your sauce. And you're going to see that it coats the back of the spoon and that it stays separated like that when you run your finger through it, okay? That shows you your sauce is at the right consistency. If it runs together, if it runs completely off the spoon, it's going to be too thin, okay? So you want to get it thick enough. Now, other things that I see people doing is making their sauces way too thick, okay? It should just cover the back of that spoon lovely. Let me give this another whisk. This is doing great. Turn it down a little more so I can pay attention to you and not so much the sauce. To make the herb sauce, all you're going to have to do now is just take another spoon and add some of these beautiful chopped herbs to this sauce and let it simmer again. We'll whisk these in. Oh man, when they hit the heat, heat releases the smell. It's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to whisk this in. We're going to put this back on the burner and let it sit till I'm ready. Now I'm going to cover it with a cover just because I want it to be covered. All right, so this is simmering beautifully. Now, what about that green bean casserole? That's all there is to making that herb sauce, guys. Just let the herbs sit in there, and you can use your favorite herbs. Now, of course, I chose my favorites, but you can use your favorite herbs if you'd like. And from there, we are going to move on into green bean casserole. Turn your burner on high, because what we're going to be doing is cooking some mushrooms. Now, remember that clarified butter that we made? That clarified butter also becomes a beautiful sauté oil. You can use this instead of any other kind of oil when you're cooking. And you know what else is really good about this? It imparts that gorgeous butter flavor that we love so much. This is not a healthy sauce. This is not health food. This is good food. This is food that you don't want to eat this every day, but for the holidays, man, it's wonderful. You want to go ahead and put your butter in the bottom of the pan and get it nice and warm. We're going to take some sliced mushrooms. We're going to put some sliced mushrooms in this pan once this pan gets good and hot. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to want to put your mushrooms in, and you're going to want to let them get nice and golden brown on one side, flip them up, and you do have to remember that even though these little mushrooms are sitting here and they look pretty dry, they're going to release a little bit of liquid. It's what we call mushroom liquor, okay? And it comes out and it's gorgeous. So, you know how we use mushroom soup for green bean casserole? Well, we're going to do this a little bit different. We're going to saute these. Now, to make it into a mushroom soup, you can do two things. You can saute these mushrooms, and you could take them and just use them whole, which is what we're going to do today. Or you can actually chop them up, put them into the sauce, and chop them up into nice little fine pieces. And what's going to happen there is it turns into one of the most creamiest cream of mushroom soups you've ever had. And I'm going to show you how we're going to finish that off in just a minute. So while these are sauteing, you're going to take a little bit of garlic and a little bit of shallot, and you're going to take your microplane. Remember, your microplanes are these beautiful graters. Put your garlic in last because, as we remember, garlic burns. Onions don't burn so much, but garlic does. Oh boy, does this smell delish, guys. You guys like the smell of mushrooms when they're cooking? How about when you put them in the pan and they squeal at you? Weep, weep, weep. They'll do that sometimes. And that's just mushrooms. I don't know of any other vegetable that would make that kind of a sound when you hit it into the pan. Take a little bit of garlic and put the garlic in there too. Remember though to put your garlic in last. Starting to hear that squeaky sound that they make. Hear that? I feel like I'm losing you behind this wonderful aroma of mushrooms. All right. You saw me put a little bit of salt in there. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in there, fresh ground. There's nothing like fresh ground pepper. You guys, get a pepper grinder. Use fresh ground pepper because there's just nothing like it. It's got a beautiful flavor to it, much better than that stuff that has been sitting already ground up for a long time. All right, this is what you're looking for, folks. See this golden brown on that mushroom? That's what you're looking for. When you see the brownness happening on the bottom of the pan as well, that means it's time for le vin. We're going to put some wine in there. Remember, when you use wine, an open flame, keep them separated. Ha! The aromas are intoxicating. So once that wine is evaporated, we are ready to go with the rest of our sauce. So just like I added the herbs to this sauce over here, I'm going to add these mushrooms to this sauce over here that I've made. Now, before everything in this pan gets all evaporated, we're going to take this and we're going to put it all into this sauce. And you see all that goodness in the bottom of that pan? Watch this, guys. This is what we call deglazing. Deglazing can be done with alcohol. I'm just going to use a little more stock, and all I want to do is all that stuff in the bottom of that pan, folks, it's nothing but flavor. Flavor, 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 okay? Take that and put that into your sauce. Whoever's scrubbing these pots later is going to appreciate that too. All right, turn that heat off. Come over here, we're going to whisk this in. Okay, and now, as you let this sit and simmer for the rest of the time it has to cook, which is only for about 5 more minutes, you're going to have one of the most amazing mushroom flavored sauces. All right, so this is the mushroom sauce that we're going to be using for the green bean casserole, okay? So green bean casserole, what is it? We steamed our green beans, so our green beans are beautiful green and they're tender, they're al dente, they're not cooked to mush, okay? They're really, really nice. So in order to make this into the beautiful green bean casserole, all you have to do is take this lovely sauce, make sure you get lots and lots of mushrooms over the top, and you tell me your family's not going to like this? Your family's going to be saying, Mom, Dad, we need to do this every single year because it's so delicious. You're going to take those traditional old onion rings that we all use for our green bean casserole, those fried onion rings, and you're going to sprinkle them over the top. If you wanted to make your own onion rings, you could. But you know, at the holidays, we have enough to do. Green bean casserole modernized, folks. And there you go. There's one dish. Now, I told you how you could make this into a soup. All you're going to have to do is take a stick blender, stick it in there, bzz, 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 and you're going to end up with soup. You're going to take a little bit of cream, and you see that there's some green stuff in here. So what I've done is I've taken some fresh thyme, sticks and all, folks. If you've been watching my show, you know I don't take leaves off of thyme. Just drop it right in, just like that. And then later on, when you're ready to pull it out, you just pull out all the sticks and all the leaves will fall off, okay? So that's what this little green stuff in here is. I'm going to put a little bit of this into a beautiful bowl. It's just a nice little taste. And we're going to garnish it with a little bit of a mushroom that I'm actually going to take and I'm going to fish it out of the sauce that I did over here because I didn't save any sauteed mushrooms. I should have. I've got my little pair of tweezers here, and we could put a little mushroom on top. Guys, I want to tell you something. If you're into plating stuff at home, get yourself some tweezers because they make really nice little careful placements. So here is our cream of mushroom soup. Now what I did, I pureed those mushrooms and I added a little bit of cream, and here's something else, because when you start eating it as a soup, it's going to be a little bit on the rich side. So take a little bit of lemon juice. Just a little bit of lemon juice, and you're going to put a couple drops of lemon juice in there and squeeze that in, and since I didn't do this one, there we go, on the top. And that cuts that richness and gives it just a really nice rounded flavor. Now what about that herb sauce? Now you did a roasted chicken. You went to the grocery store, you said, I'm cheating a little bit today because you bought the roasted chicken. That's okay, but we're going to make it big and fancy. Lay it out on your plate and take your sauce and just spoon it around the outside so that you have a little bit of sauce around your chicken plates, okay? And you put that with a plain roasted chicken that you pick up at the grocery store, or even if you want to roast your own chicken, please do that. That's a good thing to do too. You can fancy up anything with this sauce. You can put so many different things into this sauce and make it different flavors. You saw the basic sauce. You saw I added mushrooms to it to make a mushroom sauce for a green bean casserole. You can puree that and make a mushroom soup. You can just make the veloute itself and put a little lemon juice, a little cream, and a little butter on top and make it a beautiful smooth chicken soup if you'd like. You can also add things to it to make it a beautiful, beautiful plate so that everybody will think you are quite the gourmet in the kitchen. And you will be. You master this sauce, you will be the gourmet that you want to be, and everybody would come to you saying, oh my gosh, did you go to culinary school? And you could say, no, I watched Charlotte Cooks. You can get our recipes on our website at pbscharlotte.org, or you can email me. I always love to hear from you. My email is pamela.roberts@cpcc.edu. I'd love to hear from you. So please, try this sauce. Become that master in the kitchen that you know you can be and you want to be. This is easy, it's versatile, and oh my goodness, everyone's going to be impressed. So try it out. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you for watching this episode of Charlotte Cooks, and I'll catch you next time.
A production of PBS Charlotte.